So many cuts and so little time. Here at Steak University, we know how confusing it can be to learn the difference between the many cuts of steak out there. That's why we're dedicated to making the learning process as simple as possible, by comparing some of the most popular cuts of steak so you don't have to. This brings us to prime rib versus ribeye, two amazingly delicious cuts that are must-haves on any steak menu. One of the things we often get asked is prime rib and ribeye the same thing? Our answer? Yes and no. Unlike some of the other steak cuts we prepare, these cuts of steak come from the same primal cut of beef. A ribeye is a section of rib roast that is cut prior to being cooked. But let's dig a little deeper and find out more about each cut. Prime rib is also known as standing rib roast. The roast comes from the same part of the animal that the ribeye does. It's also important to note that although prime rib contains prime in its name, this does not mean that it is USDA prime. Be sure to double check the grading of your beef before you purchase it. What is ribeye and where does it come from? You may see ribeye being referred to by several names, like ribeye or rib-eye or rib steak. Don't get too hung up on the names. The ribeye has many names, but they all generally refer to the same cut. Let's talk about the cost. Basically, this comes down to the type of cut, since ribeye and prime rib can be cut a few different ways. Ribeyes can be bone-in or boneless, with boneless cuts generally being more expensive per pound. Prime rib refers to the entire rib roast, which means one can cut desired portions from it. Prime rib will usually be more expensive if ordered at a restaurant. Is ribeye the same as prime beef for cooking steak? It can be, but it depends on the way in which the ribeye and prime rib are cut. Ribeye is generally cooked like a steak. That means you can grill it or pan fry it to your heart's content. The roast is different though. You want to make sure your roast is completely thawed and seasoned before attempting to roast it in an oven or grill. We hope we've answered some of your questions about the difference between ribeye and prime rib. Ribeye gives you the best part of the cut in a smaller portion. The prime roast gives you a larger cut that contains the ribeye area as well. Head over to our website and check out Chicago Steak Company's ribeyes and bone-in heart of rib roast. Until next time, we'll see you back at Steak University, your steak education.